How's it going?
Pretty good yourself?
Pretty good, pretty good. We're here at the parking structure. Concrete crew. Has all the footings dug out. Formwork set up. Getting ready to set our anchor bolts for some of these precast columns. Got the string lines set up to all their batter boards. String lines set up to establish all the center lines. And if you watched one of my previous videos about those sleeves for the dowels, I would mention that they're going to put a 2x8 and 2x6 so they can screw those sleeves into the boards. And here is the boards that they're setting up, these little 2x6s here. See, they set up a string line here to get up their batter boards nice and rigid, that way they don't move around. But got the double matted rebar here for this big spot footing. And yes, we do have all of our rebar caps on for the most part. I know there's some areas where they need to get some put on, but batter board set up. And right here's a template for our anchor bolts. They'll go ahead and pop some holes in, like 4 holes into them, so they can set all their anchor bolts. And on this side of the parking structure, we got a ton of steps in our footings. So here's a little rebar showing this step in our footing. And if we go back and look at the details, that's exactly the way that's going to be set up. So it looks like they're over here messing around with the laser level. Looks like they're trying to establish some type of elevation basis there. Let's go walk this way. We'll take a look at some of these verticals that they have coming up. Here's some of the embed plates that they're going to be putting into the formwork. Watch out for the trip lines when you're walking through the job site. Otherwise, you're going to look foolish stumbling all over them in front of all these guys that work out here all day. Again, big sections of rebar. Where all these vertical dowels come up, we're going to have a cast in place retaining wall later on in the future. See this string line, they haven't pulled it in tight yet. We got embed plates set up. Let's go a little further along. This retaining wall is going to be for a sidewalk later on. Later on, this part will be a poured sidewalk. They got a little footing formwork right up here. There. And then up there, you'll notice a big, long section of rebar. That's basically a tie beam. This tie beam is kind of going to be served for lateral stability on. It's going to tie together all these big footings together. All right. Okay, guys, we're here back at the parking garage. As you can see, we got a dowel set up right here with the formwork, and another, or embed, I mean. And then we also have the rebar coming up right here. So we ran into a little bit of an issue where these dowels are not staying plumb, or the anchor bolts, I mean, because these ties right here are not bent at the correct angle, so it's causing it to bow outward, and we need them to be perfectly plumbed up. So that's kind of why I'm out here today, to see what we can do about this. You can see these ties are tied up against there and everything, and yeah, we just need these things to be a little bit more spread out to give them a little more clearance. So what we're thinking about doing is getting another template to cover over the tops of these, and then maybe that will keep them plumbed up while we pour the concrete. We're planning to pour concrete tomorrow morning, so we need to get this figured out ASAP and rig up something to make this happen. What we'll probably do is maybe put another sheet of plywood over the tops of these anchor bolts, so that way they stay straight. Alrighty. This is some of our formwork here.